The National Grange has a new president. Chris Hamp was named leader of the organization late last year, and she's from right here in the Northwest, currently living in Spokane. I recently had a chance to sit down and talk with Chris about the Grange and her plans for the organization. But before we started our conversation, Hamp told me that the Grange is who I am. I asked her to expand on that notion and tell us what impact the Grange had on her growing up.
The Grange and the ideals, the process, the concept of what a Grange is and does really truly creates citizens, and it creates leaders, and it creates members of our communities that are able and for the most part willing to be participants. And I think that's what our communities need today, are participants that understand what it is to be a citizen and what citizenship means. And those lessons and ideals learned in the Grange, the ability to stand up and talk in favor of an idea, having mentors from different generations that share their knowledge and their experiences with you. I think all of that creates the individual, and long before the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child was something that was part of our vernacular, it was what Grange did, and what it continues to do is make sure that our members are part of something bigger than themselves, that you grow and learn for a lifetime. That it's not just a conversation that you have with a child or a young adult in setting goals and having things that you want to do better, but that we're lifelong learners. And as part of that, it's being a part of something, like I just said, bigger and better than yourself.
It seems between phones, tablets, we're getting pulled in a bunch of different directions nowadays. So what has the Grange done to stay relevant, and what would you like to see the Grange do moving forward to keep that relevancy?
Yeah, the Grange continues to identify those issues that are important to rural America. That is our focus. That's where the roots are, and maybe it's not so much agriculture as it used to be, as agriculture is less and less of an occupation that's that box being checked on a census report perhaps, but the focus on rural America, and today we're super active in some different issues with healthcare, the disparities in rural America with many different issues surrounding healthcare. That is relevant. That makes sense for our members. It makes sense for the rest of rural America, that they have a voice to work through some of these issues of less doctors per capita and hospitals closing and all these things that are happening in our rural parts of the country. So that's one piece of trying to make sure that we resonate with the population, that we resonate with folks that are members yet to be, and that resilience over the decades, sets us up for that mindset to keep looking for those ways to make sure that we are relevant, and that folks can say, Grange is moving forward with the times, and it's a place that still is important. I mean, I am absolutely 100% convinced that this country would be in a much better place if every community had a Grange, had that group of doers that were focused on what's best for everybody. And that's part of the push moving forward is to make sure that we're positioned for an increase in membership. I think that's one of the challenges, is making sure that we're ready when they knock on the door. And that's a little bit scary, but it's also super exciting that we're in a good place. And I think folks are looking for how they make a difference in their community, how their voice is heard, and how lending their voice to a bigger group gets more done.
You know, Chris, before we came on air, we were also mentioning politics at the Grange. It seems like nowadays people just fight all the time. If you disagree, you can't be friends anymore. You kind of know the spiel. So in your assessment, what are politics in the Grange? How are they handled? And what do you see that looking like going forward?
Sure. Since the very, very beginning, 157 years ago, 1867, the Grange has been nonpartisan. So you will not see the Grange back a party or an individual that is in a race or a position that it requires a letter behind their name. You will see us involved in issues and what's best for everyone. And, you know, in today's world, like you just said, with seeing the discourse and the dividedness and the fact that compromise now is treated as a weakness rather than as a strength. I mean, compromise and collaboration, having partners that you sit at the table and discuss ways to work around differences and make it work for all of us. That's what the Grange does. That's what we're about, and that's what we do in 2024 and definitely moving forward.
Before we let you go, just give us an overview of what your plans are for the Grange now in the short term and what plans you have long term.
I think, Glenn, that the main thing for us is to continue to seek members, to find those folks in our communities that want to be a part of, like I said earlier, something that's bigger than themselves, and to make sure that our current members are planning for succession, that we're setting ourselves up to find those folks that will lead this Grange into, you know, the next decade, the next several decades. That is one thing, is to take those steps to provide that education and whatever else that goes along with that we need to set ourselves up for a strong future. The other thing is to make sure that we're at the table having a piece of the discussion in all of those things that are related to rural America, that we're making sure that our members and folks that call rural America home, and really any small town across the country, that they have what they need, that they have education and that they have health care and that they have connection to the ability to stay there and to farm a small farm if that's what they want to do. I think there's lots of issues out there that we can help make sure that if you want to call rural America home and you want to raise a family on a small farm in a small community, that we can make sure that happens. I think that the message is that the Grange is resilient. The Grange is one of those organizations that truly has no agenda, no no agenda of its own other than making sure that our communities are as strong as they possibly can be. The hours and hours and dollars that Grangers spend to make their communities stronger is mind-boggling, and we're always looking for more folks that want to join a group like that wants to do nothing more than make sure that where and they call home is going to be a good home for them and their kids and grandkids to come. And I think that's one of the key things that we'd love to have you come check us out, and we can get you set up to become part of a, I won't say a movement, because it's been a long movement. It's a way of life. It really is a place that is welcoming and a safe space to have conversations, to meet with folks that have some of the same ideas as you, and work together to make tomorrow stronger than it is today. That's kind of been my push moving forward, that every day we work to make not only the Grange stronger, but that we set up our Granges to have that same thought with their communities, that every day the thought is that tomorrow is stronger than today.
Once again, that was Chris Hamp, president of the National Grange.